Guys, I'm looking around. It's Sean's birthday. And I just really hope that he's not watching this. Okay. Happy birthday. Hats. Not for me, but for the guys. Ooh, the door's open. Wait. We practiced at home. All right, we just ruined it. Ready? Oh, here we go. Sean. Guys. No. Say hi to Periscope.
Oh, no. Hi, Periscope.
Everyone says hi. Everyone's laughing. Happy birthday, Sean. 3 kisses.
Oh.
Happy birthday. Happy
Thanks,
birthday.
everybody. Thanks.
I got this yesterday. I'm a big birthday person.
Don't I look good? I'd like to thank my mom, my dad. Thank
Big
you
hugs.
So much. Thank
Yes.
you so much. That's so sweet.
The TGD
Thank you guys
crew.
for joining me on this it's kind of like a surprise birthday.
It is. That's what I was trying to do, like a surprise party.
Uh-oh. I would have gotten myself a little more gussied up if I would have known you guys were stopping by, but I wasn't made aware. So this is
That's why it was a
surprise.
surprise.
Okay, you love me, you love me.
You can eat your bow tie. Cujo 9.
Okay.
Take it easy, man.
Okay.
Man, you take it easy. Don't eat the bow tie. How's life?
Life is easy. It is my choice.
It is your choice? Yeah, absolutely.
Depend on you how you make it hard or make it easy.
Oh my god.
Life is easy. It is your choice. Depend on you.
Yeah.
How you make it hard or how you make it easy for your life.
Wisdom. Yes.
No matter what, you broke. You not broke. Just make happy.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I have no money, but I'm still happy with my broke. If I have a choice to be better living,
Yeah.
I will take that way to go.
Yeah. But we got to find it.
If you find it, let me know.
Do you know my story? Right?
No,
Right?
please tell me.
So you're delivering food.
Yes.
Right? I was parking cars
Yes.
as a valet. You know what a valet is, right?
Yes, sir.
For 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah, until about what?
6 years ago, he was a valet.
Really? 6 years ago.
Yep, maybe 6.5, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But I worked there for 11 years parking people's cars.
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to get at is that you can always change. You can always get out of what you're doing. So
Yes.
maybe we'll talk about that
Maybe this could
sometime.
be an ongoing
As soon as possible. Sissy love you. Sissy will see you later. And you better love Sissy too, please. Okay.
Whew.
Yay!
CC, Hurricane CC
Started
blew
this out with
in.
a bang. Let's jump in.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog.
Wow, you jumped to the intro. Nice.
That's what I thought you wanted me to do, no?
No, it's great. Keep going. Let's do it.
Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and this, to my right, is the lovely, talented Laura Morgan.
Oh. Go on.
That's all you get. And we have a few things we want to share with
Yes.
everybody about what's cooking here in Good Dog Land.
So we have some exciting things.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm
hit
going to
it.
let you, because I already kind of addressed Periscope, so I want you to take the reins.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all,
Yes.
we are drinking from our fancy wine glasses tonight.
That were given to us by a very lovely
Very
fan.
wonderful Q&A-er. Okay, so we have a couple things. The Good Dog is obviously, we train down in New Orleans, and now we're looking seriously into expanding into a spot down in New Orleans. So getting like a little training spot and having Miss Shelby, who you might have seen throughout the week
Yes.
on pictures and things like that, having her help us out down there because she's a badass. She's a great trainer.
Yep.
She came to T3 and she was a client.
She's been shadowing for 2 weeks here,
Yeah, so
stealing our secrets.
Stealing away. So that's kind of a new exciting thing that we're gonna.
Yeah,
really
I mean, we're
contemplate down
really looking hard. Like Nola is in such dire need of a balanced training facility. There's very little competition, and there's very few people doing really solid work out there with challenging dogs.
Yep.
So it's a really great opportunity for us, but a really great opportunity for the community for us to provide something that doesn't really exist. And so if we can get out there and do fantastic work with both dog training, but also like a lot of people that train dogs that are kind of challenging or have their dogs trained, then they need boarding.
Yeah.
And they can't put them anywhere because their dogs are like a little
Yeah.
dodgy.
Just like anywhere.
They need
Like,
more structure,
yep.
and a lot of boarding places are just like kind of nutty free-for-alls. So we're talking about creating like really structured and safe and secure boarding, possible daycare for dogs that wouldn't be allowed in any other locations because we will be the sheriffs on duty.
Yep.
So pretty exciting stuff. Wow, we got Belle.
Belle,
Would
stop.
you leave him alone?
Just loves him.
I know, but she's got to put her love on hold. What else do we got going on?
All right, so we wanted to just briefly say T3 Rhode Island is totally sold out. We told you guys that last week.
Exploded.
It's actually in less than, it's like in 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
it's last minute anyway. Totally sold out. And Los Angeles, which
And that's
is,
at Jeff Center in
Yep,
Rhode Island, just
yep.
for anyone who doesn't
Solid
know.
Canine training.
Yep.
And then we're doing something here in Los Angeles or Santa Clarita, which is just outside of Los Angeles, and that is halfway sold out. So
Crazy.
It's crazy
It's
because
crazy.
we just last year I think we did 6 dates, and this year we're doing 3 or 4. So that's why things are going crazy. So book your tickets. If you want to go to T3, we're really bringing down them because of so much travel and craziness with these guys
Schedule stuff just is so tight
Yep.
that we can't really manage to make 4 or 5 6 seminars come together. So we're looking at a smaller, maybe a few extra numbers, but a smaller number during the course of the year.
Yep.
Right now, LA is the only one that's on the books. We'd love to be able to plug in another one, but there's no promises. We just don't know if we can make it happen. So if you really are determined to go this year, I would say pull the trigger on LA and come see us, even if you have to take a little bit of a trip to get out there to see us.
There's some cheap hotels out in Santa Clarita, so.
Yeah, and it's a special place because we do it at Tony's.
Yeah.
And it's got a very homey, warm vibe, which
Really
is really
nice.
nice. Guys, this has been a long time coming. Me and Laura have talked about it for a while. We've brainstormed, we've thrown ideas around, we've had wacky ideas, all sorts of we're always brainstorming and coming up with new ideas and things we can do. Main goal was like, how do we connect with our community? How do we get to actually be like one-on-one? What can we provide that everybody's looking for, people are needing? And we came up with an idea about doing our own little workshops. And I know I hinted at it with Periscope the other day. So we've actually committed to it. We put it in concrete, and it's a go. So it's the TGD e-collar workshop. Correct? Did I get that right? TGD e-collar workshop. It's going to be held in NOLA. I'm going to be in NOLA for the next handful of months.
New Orleans for
New Orleans, right? Laura's going to fly down. It's going to be May 7th and 8th, which is the weekend after Jazz Fest, which means that it should, all the smoke should clear, hotel prices and Airbnb should all be at a very reasonable price.
Flights or everything, after the big events, everything kind of goes down. So
Yeah,
cool.
it all simmers
Yes.
a bit. So this is super exciting.
Yep.
For us to do this workshop, we've been talking about doing our own thing for a while,
Totally.
and this is not T3 related. It's just me and Laura. You want to come hang with us, spend some real personal one-on-one time. We're going to be hands-on with you, helping you work through all your different e-collar issues, whether you're a beginner, totally green, intermediate, or more advanced, or wherever your dog fits into that category. We're happy to help and work through with that stuff with you guys. That said, we won't be dealing with any man-eaters,
we're not doing major aggression stuff. I mean, if your dog has aggressive stuff and you're working e-collar, we can work through it. Just email and talk to me about that.
Yeah.
But this is mainly e-collar stuff. So you could be a very advanced e-collar level.
E-collar mechanics.
Just starting out. Or working through problem solving. So if you're interested in that, please send me an email, thegooddog.la@gmail.com or thegooddogway@gmail.com, both linked up here. And just send me an email, and in the subject line just put, you know, TGD e-collar workshop or e-collar workshop, and I'll make sure to find it and let you know how we're going to do that.
Let me just say this. It's going to be off the freaking chain.
Yes.
It's going to be so cool. And when me and Laura put stuff together, we always make sure it's jam-packed with all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to have...
And it's going to be fun.
Max 11 people. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Max 11 people, it's $500, and it's May 7th and 8th, so we'll be putting out like probably something about that, so.
Yeah, maybe a little extra video, maybe some more details, stuff like that. But if you want it, jump on it because things are going to go quick.
In my perfect world, it's all of our Q&A'ers all coming together for just a big blast of a weekend with tons of e-collar stuff.
Yeah, where we actually get to teach you if you're stuck with anything or anything
but
like
also
that.
Like
community.
Loving.
You know, getting to hang out with you guys that we spend so much time in virtual land is something that's really special to us. So
we really want to meet all you. We promise we'll get your dog super far wherever you are, and it'll just be really cool to have some FaceTime with y'all.
And maybe we'll even take you out to beignets.
Oh, it's possible.
Maybe. We'll take a look. Anyways, guys, that's big news. We're really excited. Just wanted to get that across. And with that, I think it's time to roll.
I think it's time to jump in. And you already introduced us.
I'm going to start over.
Do it.
I need it again.
Go for it.
Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and this is the lovely blue-nailed, he's still encrusted?
Yeah, we're still encrusted.
Still encrusted, got some fancy gadgets going on.
My hair.
Yeah, she's,
eye makeup.
I mean, she's really taking Q&A up. Once the camera got serious and started showing like everything, she's like, let me do the little makeup, let me do it.
No, it's ever since I stopped being like hands-on with dogs like every day, I'm like, oh, I can actually be a girl again.
Girl. Right? So she's emerged as a girl. The butterfly has come out, and we're very excited to have. Hey, what was it? The gestation period, if you will.
Yes.
It took a while.
That's pretty smart. That's
it took a while. Right, I was going to say something about papoose, but it's not papoose.
No, we don't want to.
No, papoose is an Indian thing, but I think it's okay. You guys smart. No. What? Shelby?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
What is it before the butterfly comes out? A
cocoon?
No.
Yeah.
No, it starts with a P. You guys are going to know this and you're going to go, God, that Sean's really smart. Except he can't remember what he's trying to say. We'll get to it later.
All right. Guys, we got our food early, so we're going to jump in early. We're sorry.
Real quick, for those of you who've been watching.
Do you see that?
I'm getting yelled at because I'm chewing in the mic. How about this?
No.
Pupa.
Oh, yeah.
Pupa is what goes, I think, is what's before it emerges as a butterfly. Oh. It's a pupa. And I just want to say.
Don't you think I was like a butterfly before?
Well, you've always been a butterfly.
Question number 1 comes from Suzee. Mm-hmm. She says, my question wasn't answered last week, so I'll try it again. Last June,
is she angry?
No.
Okay.
Last June, I adopted a purebred Basenji. His former owners had bought him from a puppy mill and banished him to their backyard for 2 years. Mm-hmm. He wasn't housebroken, not socialized, and didn't have any manners. When I adopted him, he wasn't housebroken, had issues with resource guarding, etc. I was able to overcome that. He has no resource guarding. His main issue is now leash reactivity. Another dog ran up to us while I was walking him and tried to attack him. Ever since that day, he's had issues with dogs coming up to him while he's on leash. It's gradually become worse and was to the point where he redirected toward me when he encountered dogs on leash. He bit me on 4 separate occasions because of it. I started hand feeding him and working him with a correctional collar and e-collar. It helps tremendously and he no longer redirects on me. However, he's still reactive on leash. Most of the time it happens when the other dog is super excited, but sometimes it doesn't matter. It's always that initial meeting to a dog he doesn't know that he reacts to. After 5 minutes or so, he becomes calm. She bought the pet convincer, you know, it's always just the initial meet. How do I fix this? How much of a correction do I give? Do I correct the behavior as soon as I see the hackles stand up or wrinkles on the forehead? It's easy to see when he gets that arousal.
Quite a question.
Yes.
Woo!
It's a good one.
Okay, so mostly I'm having a hard time reading my notes because it's covered in Indian food.
Let me just start out with this, Suzee, for you.
Whoa.
So we're going to jump into something that we're going to try to do more in Q&A here, which is basically a little bit of like...
Tough love?
Showing. No. I think we got plenty of that. A little bit of more demonstration stuff. So, Creeper cam. So I want to show you right now. I don't know, but we both had this impression that maybe you're letting your dog, and it could be wrong, but if we're wrong, then this is still going to be valuable, but if we're right, like definitely listen up. So we have a feeling that you might be letting your dog meet other dogs on leash. So you said that first it was an off-leash dog that ran up, but then after that he has trouble every time he meets dog on leash.
Yeah.
Our hope is that it's just that it's surprise meets, but if it is on purpose meets, like, hey, can my dog meet your dog? We want to make sure that that's not happening. So here is an example of how you should not let a dog meet on leash.
Yeah. She just wants to say hi. So your dog's aggressive? My dog's friendly. She goes to doggy daycare. She won't bite. Your dog's aggressive. You need to get him under control.
So your dog's aggressive.
That's
Now,
awesome.
Here's an example of how maybe you should handle it, because it's hard when owners come up and they're like, hey, can my dog meet your dog? We know that's a hard question. We deal with this all the time. So here's a good way to deal with that.
Is your dog friendly?
He's in training. He's not friendly. He's nervous about other dogs. We don't meet on leash. He bites.
Oh.
Hi everybody, this is Shelby from The Good Dog.
Hi everybody, this is Audrey from The Good Dog.
The rules for when you're walking your dog and someone wants to meet on leash are:
Stay away from harnesses.
create space,
Stay away from flexi leash.
keep your dog in a good heel position.
Don't be pressured by someone trying to meet your dog.
When all else fails, tell them he bites.
Wow.
Cool.
I love being able to cut this stuff in.
Yes.
Highly educational.
Yes.
Give people better perspective.
Definitely fun. Yep.
Can I jump in a little bit and
Please.
give some
Please do. Now it's all you, baby.
some Indian food fused clarity?
Yep.
Okay. So for one,
Timer.
timer. So I'm glad the e-collar is working for you. So it sounds like the e-collar is really helping out. That's really good news. If you are letting dogs, and I know Laura just covered that, but if you are letting dogs or your dog meet on leash, what you systematically are doing, whether you know it or not, I know your intentions, if this is happening, are to create relationships and let your dog have friends and things like that. 9 out of 10 dogs that show up, or clients that show up here with dog reactivity or dog aggression problems, I want everybody who's watching this to hear this loud and clear, happens from dog parks, dogs getting manhandled at dog parks and being stressed out, doggy daycares, dogs being bullied, or even if they're not attacked, just bullied and pressured at doggy daycare, and so they lose trust in dogs, or dogs being forced to meet on leash, which are highly stressed, highly loaded situations, and then you might have 75 meets on leash, and you're like, what is that Sean talking about? We meet dogs all the time, and then boom, you get the one dog where you bring your dog over and the dog goes after your dog, lights your dog up, bites him, puncture wounds, scares the hell out of him. Maybe doesn't even make contact, but scares the hell out of him, traumatizes them. And then what happens? It's super clear. Your dog once again loses trust again in dogs, but also in you, keeping him safe. So if there is any component of you allowing dogs to meet on leash, you're setting yourself and your dog up for more challenge and failure, and I know that's not what you're wanting to do, but it's an easy one to make the mistake on. So many owners do. So let's hope that that's not happening, but if it is, that's my advice. Get rid of it, be done with it. How's my time looking? Good. So the other stuff, I just covered everything, man. I just blew right through that. So the other thing that I would say is create foundation training with your dog. Dog's already on e-collar. So you should be doing sit, down, place, recall, e-collar, heel, and creating a fundamental comprehensive state of mind for your dog, transformation that's more positive and more healthy, right? every time we hear about people going out and like trying to deal with reactivity or aggression or whatever it is in a symptomatic, singular one thing, you know, that they're trying to fix, always the hardest thing. It's the least leveraged, it's the most challenging, and you're going to find, thank you, Laura, and you're going to find that it's going to be the least efficient and efficacious, ooh, I think that's a big word,
Whoa.
efficacious way of going about making this happen. So if your dog came here and you were like, this is what we've got going on, and you came into our board and train, I would not take your dog out and start working on reactivity. I would get your dog to be fantastic in a crate, fantastic at thresholds, fantastic at heel, like do not move, like the immaculate heel you've heard me talk about. Do not move, do not sniff, do not stare. Now I've got leverage. Your dog sees another dog, quick tap on the e-collar, knock it off, don't stare, don't get into that.
Right.
But that's all predicated on me using enough space to where I don't pressure my dog and put him into a situation where he has no choice but to explode. So oncoming dogs, Laura, me, Britt, everybody, we've all got great dogs. We still give a wide berth. We still move around other dogs. We don't ever put our dogs in a situation where they can't feel safe and trust us to advocate for them. So that's your gig, right? And once you get really good at that, if you really go through our videos, our e-collar, our DVD prong, or our free videos, you really go through that stuff and you kick butt, time's flying, and you really kick butt, what you'll find is that space you need to keep your dog cool, comfortable, and safe will get smaller and smaller and smaller. But that's the process, that's the art. Create leverage, create permission-based reality or relationship, and then move from there and then see what you get. And I'm out with minutes to spare.
Whoa, look at you.
I got no worries.
Nice.
You guys realize that there's an ongoing issue with me being long in the tooth. Sorry, Ladon.
Sorry, Ladon.
And it's always a challenge for me to get answers out that don't.
It's fine.
That aren't the, as the Beatles said, the long and winding road.
You're just passionate. All right. Question number 2 comes from Sue. Sue says, hi, Sean and Laura. I have a 2.5-year-old English lab, and she has fear aggression mostly on walks. I've watched many of your videos and used the prong collar.
Excellent.
I also bought the mini educator in early January, and I've been conditioning it to her.
Great.
To it.
Great.
In the house and in our fenced backyard, she listens on low level number 10. Number 4 in the house, out in the yard around 10 at the highest. I'm starting really to feel frustrated that she just doesn't seem affected by the pressure on the collar. She's always looking around nervously looking for anything. She's not bad passing people, but when we see dogs approaching, she will relax. She will get worked up trying to lunge, but not at all dogs. I'm not sure how to handle her. I try to watch her to see if she starts panting and give a correction before she gets in that bad state. I found that normally I only need to use level 12 unless we see a dog. Then I've gone up to 39 a few times and she didn't stop her naughty behavior. Can you please help me on how I should handle her using the collar and how I should still correct at the same time with the prong? Do you think I'm not giving her high enough correction? She was worse before I started using the prong collar, and your videos really help. So
Great. So I've got a couple notes. I don't know if you want to look over them, but
is this my question?
this is your question.
Oh, all right. Okay, Sue. So you've got a lab, and she's got fear aggression on walks, and so you're on prong and e-collar, which is awesome. So she's 4 inside the house, 10 at the yard. That sounds just about right with a lot of these guys. Okay, so my biggest thing that I saw here was that you said, like, I found that I only need to use a level 12 unless we see a dog, and then I've gone up to 39 and she didn't stop. So that is a really typical thing that a lot of great owners will tell us when we're doing sessions with them or when we're working with their dog, and that is that they get stuck on the number. So a level 39, you know, you say it like it's the worst thing in the world. It does sound like the worst thing in the world when your dog responds to a 4 inside the house. That makes perfect sense that it sounds like the worst thing in the world. Oh my gosh, it's 10 times the amount and it's still doing nothing. It must not be working. But the reality is you can't look at that number.
Right.
So you got to find a number that she responds to, so you watch your dog. You obviously aren't going to crank up from like level 4 to 40 right away, but if 39 is not working, you got to go higher. And the other thing Sean mentioned here, too low, too slow. So if your dog is already amped totally at the top and you're correcting at 39, you roll
Or
up.
even starting to like,
Correct. Yeah, if there's the start and you're correcting and dialing up, you're probably you should just
Behind
get out
him.
of there. Yeah, you're too far behind. Just move on, get behind a car, or do whatever else our clients do, because you've lost your moment. So at that point, you're fighting a battle that you're not going to win. So what we want you to do is find that level, maybe like, I don't know, pick like a level like 25, 30, to get right when your lab does this of the other dogs. Not when she's already lunging, not when she's already doing her thing, but right when you see that change or the forehead wrinkle or any of those early signs, that's when you hit it 30.
Why is that?
Because you want to correct him. I hate these little tests.
You hate the quizzes. The reason I just want to jump in is because that's the begin. Think about it this way, guys. I'm going to jump right back to you, but think about it this way. It's a sequence of escalation.
Yeah.
So if you can think about it really clearly, what Laura's talking about is really right on the money. The ears and the furrowed brow are the very beginnings of the sequence, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can catch that sequence right here, you can nip it in the bud and stop it. Mm-hmm. If you let that sequence get more intense, now there's more adrenaline, there's more chemicals flowing, there's more focus and intensity, and it becomes much more challenging to try and bring that dog back down. Yep. So I just wanted to share that, so like to try and help kind of clarify the sequence kind of part of it.
I love the idea. I think Sean told me this a long time ago, is that like you're in a car accident, right? Right after the car accident, someone's like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this math problem really quick. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, I can't even, like, my adrenaline's up, I'm freaking out, I'm all these things, I can't retain any information. So those corrections are almost like futile. But if someone taught me a math problem as I was just driving calmly, or I was just like looking at a car, or like when my adrenaline's way lower, I'm gonna be much more inclined to actually
because you're
learn.
not stressed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're getting your dog probably too late in the game. So you want to correct. Don't do that thing of like, is she gonna go or isn't she? If you see that, the wrinkled brow, the perked up ears, the looking at the dog, that's when you correct. But don't start at 12. Start higher. Start 25, 30 and see what you get. She's most likely gonna be at, whoa, okay, never mind. So that's probably it. Using 2 levels. Yeah. Dogs pushing through, ignoring, and you're nagging your dog at that lower level. If you're starting at 12 on the walk and then you're just having to roll up, and oh my gosh, at 39 it's not working, you're just starting too low and you're just not starting at the right time. You finish this
No. I want to do this jointly with you. Like Laura did a Periscope today, talking about, it almost sounded like I said shit talking about, but that was not what I said. She was talking about Cujo and talking about persistence. Uh-huh. And the whole kind of arc of her Periscope was showing that he wanted to do what he wanted to do, which was go play with dogs really bad. And Hercules was working at what levels to recall him back?
11. Yeah.
On this, which is the pro without the Indian food on it, which is the pro, pro educator. Yep. And then for Cujo, 100. Mm-hmm. Right? To recall, not to blow his mind, not to like burst him into flames, to get him to get him to care. Yeah. Because his drive to go do that thing was so like overpowering the correction. So I just think it was a really great Periscope. And I think it's a good one for people to hear, because I think people get so caught up on the numbers that they catch themselves at a place where they just kind of indiscriminately or randomly determine that's a high number.
Like, oh my gosh. Like I said, like 4 inside the house, 40 outside. Oh my gosh, that's too high. Something's wrong here. But you're not wrong. Just watch your dog and get them earlier, because if you're getting them too late, you're going to have to go higher, and we just don't want that. You're just fighting and losing.
And what you said about watching the dog is where it's all at. Mm-hmm. Because if Laura watches her dog, let's talk about Cujo, and she taps him at 35 and he recalls like lightning, then 35's awesome. Mm-hmm. If she taps 35 and there's no response, then he just told her that level means nothing to her, even if it would explode Hercules. So she has to not pay attention to the number on the dial and only pay attention to the response from Cujo. Yep. And that's maybe the hardest thing to get. Everybody's so worried about hurting their dog with the e-collar, but I'm telling you, you sound frustrated, you sound annoyed. I don't think my dog's listening, he's not paying attention. You talk about, should I use maybe some prong stuff? No, it's not about the prong collar. You already said earlier in the message, the prong collar gets him a little more revved up. don't worry, the prong collar should be on, but it's only for directional stuff. Use the e-collar as your primary. And then the other question I was going to ask you, when you go to correct, when you go to address your dog, this one just came up last minute, are you using a quick tap with a higher level at 39 or 40? Or are you pressing and holding and rolling up to 25, 39, 40, right? Because there's a very big difference in perception from the dog, right? So we've done this several times, but like I could be at like 20 and slowly go from 20 to 50, and Laura would be like, that's no big deal. But if I hit her with 50 right away, she's gonna go, whoa, and it's gonna get her attention. So making sure about how you address that, like if you've got a dog blowing you off on that recall, go high, tap. Like just, you want that pressure to be sudden and surprising, so your dog goes, whoa, and turns and comes.
And at that first little moment.
Yeah.
So let us know.
I think you did a good job.
Cool, thanks. Question number 3 comes from Andrea and Gina. So Andrea and Gina both asked a similar question, so we decided to kind of combine the questions. I don't even think we're going to really read them, but we're just going to talk about what the questions are
Just give
about.
a general overview.
So the general overview is like, dogs are playing a little bit too rough, possibly, and how rough is too rough? When should we intervene? When should we tell them, like, this is enough? When should we worry about it escalating? When should we advocate? You know, that sort of thing. And yeah, there's like antagonizing dogs, jumping and biting on them, you know, nipping, and sort of like they're playing together, but there's also like a little bit of roughness to it, and not sure when to shut that down.
Good question. So let me make sure I've Indian food clear.
Yes.
So I'm going to try and see if I can do this in a more general sense. Andrea, I know you are trying to figure, I think the dog was biting the coattails of the other dog and doing stuff like that. Yep. So for both of you, both the owners, I want you to really start to kind of trust more of your intuition instead of looking at like, hey, instead of looking at like, I'm about to trust my intuition.
Get out of here, dude.
It's always the old guy.
9.
Come on, guys, enough.
Nice, go. Anywhere but there. Go ahead.
Anyways, so I want you to start to work on trusting your intuition. And I know that sounds simplistic, and I know it can sound like a cop-out, but it's important. I think all of us have more intuition and more in-depth understanding of what's going on if we're kind of tuned into it, right? So if you were watching 2 kids wrestle, you'd have a pretty good sense of when things were getting out of hand, right? They could play and have a good time, but there's a point where you can feel it, where the headlock's a little too tight,
the greatest
right?
example.
As a boy, I remember it very clearly. So
Where it shifted from fun to not so fun.
right, and so you'll see all of a sudden intensity will start to get, it'll start to amp up. So I want you guys, for one, to start deciding about what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's your decision. You can decide how much intensity, how much play, how rough it gets, right? I'd prefer you don't be like what do they call it, helicopter moms,
Yeah,
where you like dogs can't do anything, because for a lot of dogs, like rough play is really fun. But I want you to start to honor if you feel like it's getting into an uncomfortable space. We get that feeling. We know it's like, this isn't looking good or feeling good. So both of you start to get tuned into that. And then beyond that, I want you to start to learn how to address and cultivate what you want. It's really your world, whatever you want. How much you want her to play, how little do you want them to play? So then it comes down to tools, right? So I think Andrew was asking less about tools because she's using e-collar on both dogs.
Right.
I think she's asking more about like how to gauge it. Yeah. And I think with Gina, she's probably asking more about tools, maybe how to gauge it, but actually tools like how do I actually stop it? So for Andrea, I want you to use the e-collar. And I want you to use like low levels starting out for any kind of monkey business with the other dog that you don't like. And just, can you check? I think we got a Barker out there. Yeah. Travis Barker. So, Andrea, I want you to start cultivating exactly what you want. You're knowledgeable enough. You've listened to enough of this stuff. You spend enough time with dogs. I want you to start going, I don't like this. This is cool. And what you don't like, a little tap on the e-collar. Start low. and work your way up to a level that your dog cares about, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you can cultivate good stuff. Don't go too high too quick, because then you can start to impede their ability or their desire to play with each other, right? Start low and just let them know, hey, knock that off. Now for Gina, I don't think your dogs run e-collar, so that presents a little bit more of a challenge, because now you don't have that kind of ability to correct at a distance. So same rules apply about, like, you know, we always talk about reciprocal play. I'm going to give you a quick, like, really hold me to this, Laura. You might want to put the timer on. Reciprocal play, guys, here's what it looks like. Are you going to flash any reciprocal play video?
So we're going to jump in right now. We're going to show you a little bit of examples of really rough play.
Cool, cool.
And then, but also I want you guys to see, because we're not going to show an example of the bad stuff, because we don't have an example of that.
Right.
But of really rough play that's super reciprocal. So watch how it kind of goes back
And healthy. And healthy.
Healthy, but
right?
like you could also think that they're trying to kill each other.
Right, so hopefully it'll give you some perspective, right? So now that you've seen that video, I'm still trying to get in touch with us having like cool videos, is that I want you, Gina, to be able to think about some possibilities for corrections, right? So you either e-collar train your dogs, which you don't have to do super complicated stuff, but you need to at least condition your dogs for a week or two with recall training on your e-collar, and then you can correct for little stuff and start to cultivate nice stuff. You can use a prong collar and leash. Let your dog drag around a prong collar, the snotty one that's giving you a hard time. Let him drag, only when supervised, a prong collar with a like 20 foot long line, 25 foot long line, and he starts to get little snotty nasty. Pop on that prong collar, set a boundary, right? Think about how easy it is. Dog starts to misbehave, pop on the prong collar, he goes, well, I don't really like that. That maybe I shouldn't be doing that, like humping or jumping or biting or nibbling or whatever it is. And then what else did I give for you? So we've got, also dressage whip, which I know is like super inflammatory, and a lot of people are like, dressage whip, are you whipping dogs? Dressage whips work really fantastic for cultivating good play and managing energy levels. You can get a dressage whip from Tractor Supply, off Amazon, anywhere else, blah, blah, blah. Get yourself a nice, easy, cheap dressage whip, and when your dog starts to, I've got a wrap, when your dog starts to misbehave, boom, a little rap on the rump, and you'll watch how quick that dog's behavior will change, just like that. Peck convincer would be the last one, but peck convincer can also correct generally and make both dogs freaked out. So that's it. Hopefully the video gives you a little insight, and then those tools are like e-collar is always the best, but a little more complicated.
Cool.
Thanks. Yep.
Okay, this is not question number 4. This is question number 3.5. The reason why we're calling it 3.5 is because it's going to be a 60-second little answer.
Woo.
This is for Amanda Moran. She's awesome. She says, hi, Sean and Laura. I'm a new fan. I'm currently on maternity leave with my 3rd kid, so I'm using my time to not only bond with the baby, but also with my dogs. So that's going to start it out. I'm not going to read the whole question, but Amanda, this is for you. Amanda, you've obviously got you've got a good handle on like what we're doing and kind of how things are, but anytime that we've got kids and dogs stuff going on, like any sort of interactions like that, we really, really, really just want you to get someone
professional help
in there. And you can hire us for a phone consult if you want, if you have no one in your area, but most likely there's someone close by who can at least help you out.
And references too, if you need help with references.
We have references and things like that. It's on our website. But a balance trainer that works with this sort of stuff, not treat trainer, not positive reinforcement. This is stuff that can be serious, like can get your kids hurt and get your dogs put down, and like it's inappropriate for us to try and give you any specific information about something as dire as this. So we have to be very careful about the information we give, and we want to make sure that you're taken care of at the highest level, and for that to happen you need a pro in your house working with you to make sure that you make the right choices. It's so scary. Like we love that you don't want to mess with this stuff. Yeah, we just really don't want you to. So hit me up, thegooddog.la@gmail.com if you need a reference in your area. if you want to do a phone call, you know, Skype session or something like that, just to go over things more seriously. But I just wanted to address you, even though we're not going to answer your question. So, love you, Amanda. Let us know how it goes. Thanks.
But you did answer, so that's good.
Yeah. Question number 4.
Is it Inga or Ing?
I'm going to say it's Inga.
That's what I keep saying.
She's actually on Periscope as
my
Niano.
Periscope first.
You can't talk with your mouth full. It's absolutely vile.
Sorry, guys.
On the mic, it like picks it up like.
I'm trying to make this like a down-home picnic. Sorry.
All right, no, it's the mic. It's the mic.
It's okay.
Okay, Inga. I'm just gonna pronounce it in a Norwegian way. Question number 4, Inga. She's Niano on Periscope. She's on my Periscope a couple times too, which is awesome.
Girl power.
Hey, Sean and Laura, I have a question that's maybe too simple for Q&A, but I'll post it anyway. I have an e-collar trained leash reactive dog. He walks on my left side, and when there's enough distance, like 10 meters, I don't know what that is.
You're from Norway. You should come standard.
When we pass the dog, he's a little nervous but keeps walking. However, when I cannot give him that distance in a narrow street with the other dog on the other side, he tries to move to my right side. I think he tries to get as far away as possible. Should I let him do that or correct him and move to my right side from the moment I see the other dog? Of course, when I have to cross the dog on the same footpath, he goes crazy, but I'm hoping that the distance between us and other dogs will get smaller with time. Thanks for all the advice you guys give. I've learned so much from you. Inga, thank you so much. That's so sweet.
This has actually got your name attached.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's kind of the Laura show.
This is like too much for you guys. Okay, Inga, let me set my timer. So basically,
I'm happy to help if you need some help too.
yeah, so Sean and I talked a little bit about this question. It's a great question because you've got a couple things to it. So if you have a dog that's, you know, from what I get from your dog, you have a dog that's kind of on the softer side, a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, but definitely trying. So, you know, you say that like the distance, you know, you guys have some distance and the dog's not reacting, right? Super close distance, the dog's reacting. But just like anything that's worth, you know, anything is worth waiting for. So the time you're spending, like, okay, we can do this distance without reaction. You do this distance, you can do this distance, you can do this distance, right? We never want to go too close because you never know what the other dog's going to do. But as close as you can, like being comfortable on a footpath. But right now you guys are at this distance and things are going well. And you said that your dog moves to the other side. Now, to me, that sounds like a dog doing its best work of avoiding kind of the situation, like almost like not driving by the donut shop that calls your name every time you drive by. So you have your dog kind of like, oh, I'm gonna move to the other side because I don't even want to have the temptation of having to react to this. I don't.
You guys get
anxiety.
that? That's like super important what Laura's talking about. Dogs actually actively making a move to create more space away from something they're worried about is a heavy duty conversation of like, I'm not comfortable with this, I need more space. So go ahead.
Yeah. So having that space, like, I think that with your particular dog, you giving him, that's allowing him to do that, or even directing him yourself before it even gets to that point, to the other side of you, almost advocating for him, like, look, I know that you want to get away, I know you want to create more space, and I'm down to help you out, dude. So
and he's on e-collar, right?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think
right.
Inga's like, yeah. So
you might have to switch hands.
Yeah, you
right?
might have to switch hands and do some finagling, but I do it all the time. I do it with Hercules. He's got weirdness about like getting too close to dogs. I always switch him to the other side. It's what I do. Especially if he starts to like do the avoidant thing. I'm like, I'm here for you. I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to help you out. Now, the other side of this is that if I had a dog that wasn't Hercules, that wasn't trying, you know, that wasn't trying to get out of trouble,
being a
just
jackass,
being a brat and like just moving and like kind of using the body weight. We've seen dogs do that too. I would get the dog back to the side and be like, no, we're going to deal with this.
Yeah.
But from what I get from you, Inga, I feel like your dog's just really trying to work with you and work with the rules that you've set forth. So that's great. Work with it. And then the more you advocate for that dog, the closer you're gonna be able to get. And like you said, like some of those really close footpaths are gonna be a problem, but they may be a problem for a little bit, and then it may just get better and better and better. But you guys creating that little bond by you advocating for her is just the best way.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just cap this off. We still have a couple minutes. So honor your dog's desire for space, right? So if your dog is asking for it, honor it. That doesn't mean that we enable or allow him to be overly dependent or never face his fears, but you can do that incrementally. So what I love is if I'm walking with a dog who's worried about dogs and I start to feel him like, and I'll help encourage that, I start to feel him want to like move behind me, like I'll move with him, like teamwork, we're dancing. And what happens is your dog goes, oh crap, you're listening to me. Cool. You're not going to force me to go right down the gauntlet and deal with this high stress, high pressure thing. It's like Laura was saying with Hercules. Hercules is going to feel better because he's like, oh cool, mom's got my back. She's not going to throw me to the lions with this stuff. So that's super important. Now, it can be easy to get into that space of like, we're walking down the sidewalk, don't you move, and we're going to take it like a man.
Do this.
But like, that's something that you want to work towards. And I don't mean like take it like a man kind of stuff, but like work towards that your dog gets better and better and more comfortable, and you'll see it organically as this arc as your dog gets less worried, less concerned, because he keeps seeing you advocate and answer. Now that doesn't mean go 3 blocks away, but you can definitely like create a very distinct bubble. Like as soon as you sense the pressure from your dog or the concern, move into the bubble and your dog goes, you're listening to me. It's pretty cool. So that's a really important point. Eventually you can ask for more, like I said, but helping him feel safe is crucial and work as a team. I think we covered all those bases, so pretty good stuff.
Let us know on Periscope.
Yeah, but just I'm going to close out in 1 minute. This is such a big, it's a big sticking point for me because I came from that world, and that world was whatever the problem is, face it head on. I don't care how much stress it is for the handler, for the owner, for the dog. We're just forging ahead. And it's the hardest thing for the dog and is a great trust breaker. So let that go. Find that fine line of advocacy, but yet challenging your dog, and you will find your magic. You'll find your mojo with it. Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Let
Inga.
us know.
Correct us if it's not Inga.
I think it's Inga.
Just notice I'm getting tan.
Are you getting tan?
Well, let's go toe to toe there, Norgie. Scandy.
I have no. I'm not going to try anything.
no battling on that.
All right, question number 5 comes from Miss Karen.
Yeah.
Karen says, hi Sean and Laura, I have a tool question. What is your opinion on choke chains? She calls them check chains, but I think choke chains is
No,
the same thing,
a
right?
check chain I think is a very different thing.
Oh, it is?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't have a ton of experience with it. Check chain is rectangular.
Oh, those things.
I think so. Yeah.
Check chain.
I think so.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, like just send in a bunch of stuff saying what an idiot I am.
Can they be used as a substitute for the prong on your foundation DVD? This question is because the prong is not accepted in my part of the world, Australia, and the check chain is, but still frowned upon. I'm using a check chain on one of my dogs with good results and not so good on my other dog because she's a border collie with OCD and loses focus as soon as anything moves. She'll be on the e-collar soon once it arrives in the mail. Thank you, and I always get so much value from everything you share.
Oh, that's so great, Karen. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You poor Aussies. Ah, man, it's such a challenge.
So weird, yeah.
For such a like Wild West country.
Yeah.
Like a country that's like, you know, the home of the bloomin' onion.
Tell me.
And you know, like the outback
Well,
and
I don't know.
Shh, just work with me here. So
That might be like a big time like this. Okay.
come on, work with me. So, home of the bloomin' onion, the onion, and a lot of other more like kind of outdoorsy, adventurous, rough and tumble, and yet the fact that the tools you can use are so limited is really fascinating. And culturally, it just seems like a very strange kind of mashup. But it is what it is, right? Until I'm elected to Parliament and can change it, I think we're stuck. So, check chain, I don't have a ton of experience with it, to be perfectly frank. If I'm not mistaken, a check chain is more of that rectangular. I think they might even call them like fur savers or something like that. But check chains that go around, they're not choke chains. They probably look a little easier on the dog. I honestly don't know how effective they are, but if you're not allowed to use prongs, you're not allowed to use choke chains, then let's go with a check and let that be our best, our best kind of alternative. Because the only other real alternative compared to that would be like a dominant dog collar. I don't know if those are legal or not. They're just nylon fitted slip collars, but you don't get much bang for your buck with those. They're they don't like have any kind of zippy action or anything like that. So the check chain's probably a better method for you to go. So like I said, prong is illegal, then that would be a decent alternative. I think that once you go to e-collar, you can use the check chain to do, like, if you're trying to follow our program, which is like our prong collar foundation DVD, and you're trying to see if you can use the check chain to kind of create that foundation before you move on to e-collar work, I'm pretty sure that you can, right? I'm pretty sure that you can be patient with it and create, because you don't need to create magic. What we need to create is like everything you see in that prong collar DVD, which is like a good heel, thresholds, crate, waiting for food, sit, down, place. We don't even cover recall, just those, right? My suspicion is that with a check chain and a little persistence, hey, you're trying to shoot. I think it's the ASPCA out there. You should be able to get what you want to get, and then you can transfer it over to e-collar. And once you do transfer it over to e-collar, if you follow our e-collar DVD and our free videos, you should really be able to get some serious progress with your dog, like at levels that you're probably never seen before, because it's fairly astounding how it works, how it de-escalates dogs, the kind of accountability that you can get, the kind of conversations you can have at a distance with your dog, like Laura at the park today with Cujo. I mean, you couldn't do what you could not do what you do with your dogs without e-collar training. Not because you're not a good trainer, but because CJ is so determined.
And guess what? Who gives a fuck if I'm not a good trainer?
We'll have to bleep that out.
I'm sorry.
My mom
But
watches
this. Is the
this.
thing. Honestly, there's a thing of like.
Cheers to you.
No, really, like.
You beat me to the F-bomb this time.
I'm sorry, I've been F-bombing on Periscope, but seriously, like, there's this thing of like, oh, they're not a good trainer if they can't call them back without a tool. Guess what?
That's bullshit.
You don't know what I can do that you can't do. And our owners that are lawyers that have gone through schooling like for 10 years or something to become like, we had a doctor in here and we were like, hey, can you make sure you turn up on that? Like, what am I telling him? He knows how to like open my brain. So guys, who cares if you need a tool or not? I'm sorry.
I love it.
It's a big thing for me.
I love it. I love it.
I just
I love
hate
it.
that. I hate that whole thing. So
I just addressed it because I know that that's something that's a common situation, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of trainers, and so this conversation is good for you guys. I'm sorry I made her defensive, and we'll get her into therapy tomorrow, but this conversation is for you guys so you understand that there's a high likelihood that people that have opposing views are going to challenge you on your tool selection and that the necessity of using them. And they're going to say, if you trained your dog really well, you would need an e-collar. If you trained your
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if you trained your dog really well, you wouldn't need an e-collar, or you wouldn't need it in the house, or you wouldn't blah, 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 blah. The reality is, show me your Malinois with high drive, prey,
You know what?
dog, all
Don't
that
show
stuff.
me yours. Just take mine.
Better yet.
Take mine.
Better yet.
And have some fun
No
with that
ringers.
collar.
No
Yeah.
ringers. Just take CJ, take him for a spin through the park,
Please.
and then see how you do.
Yeah, just have some fun with him.
And so it's
Just don't get him hit by a car. Don't let him get in a fight with another dog because the other dog attacks him because he runs up on him like a crazy thing. Like,
you should have trained that out of him.
I should have. You know what's funny? Sean was on Fox News like a year ago, and I was having to rewatch it because I was cutting into the intro video a little piece of it, and I was watching the woman who's like, I don't even
In
know
New
what
York?
she's part of. Yeah, in New York. She's got this little Yorkie on her lap that's going nuts or whatever, and she literally says like, well,
It's a great interview.
she basically says like, I couldn't believe it when I rewatched it. She's like, well, oh my gosh, it's over. I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
No, go ahead. Get
She
this
says
rant. It's a good
if-
rant.
She says
it's
if
talking
you,
about me.
If you can't use you shouldn't use an e-collar, basically.
Right.
And she said, but if you can't train your dog like really well to come back to you not using an e-collar, you basically shouldn't own a dog.
Yep.
That's what she said.
I think she's right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to confiscate CJ. No. Sorry, bud. You're coming to live with me. So, anyways, guys, real quick, I'm going to wrap this up before we get into the TGD giveaways because we still got giveaways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Don't let people ever freaking hassle you. I'm not going to drop the F-bomb because I'm more couth than Miss Morgan. But don't let anyone ever hard time you about the tool use or about creating that reliability, because they do not know of which they speak. We have all worked with heavy duty. We have all worked with heavy duty dogs with high prey drive, high dog drive, all sorts of action like that. And I guarantee you, if there was an easy way to do it with chicken and positive reinforcement, we'd be all over it, because it's the best marketing plan in the world. The fact of the matter is, we're selling harder tools and harder techniques because they're the ones that work for dogs to keep them safe and work for owners. So all that other stuff, monkey business. And if you want to go to my website, www.thegooddog.net, you can click down and you can actually watch, where am I at? Here?
Go anywhere. Yeah.
Bing! You can actually see those videos. You can see the CBS.
Oh yeah.
You can see the CBS clip where I bring out, this is just for you insiders, a French Bulldog, second day of e-collar training in front of the camera.
Yep.
Boldest move I've ever made.
He was a rock star.
I had no idea where we were going to be.
Yeah.
You had to roll the dice. They said, you want to come on TV? I said, buddy, let's see what we can make happen. And it's a pretty phenomenal clip. Anyways, I'm going to stop gloating. Now we got to get into the giveaways.
All right.
You ready to rock and roll with this?
Sharon. Okay. Okay, guys. It's TGD Giveaway Time every week. I know this is what you look forward to, so we leave it to the end of the show, so you have to sit through all our gabbing.
And we kind of dig this. This is kind of our favorite part too.
It is our favorite part. All right, why don't you introduce it while I grab the...
Okay, so what we have here is we've got, so Martin.
So Martin said, hey you two, I'm sitting here watching the Q&A, enjoying it as always, and then you like, hey, do you want this free book by Gary Vee? And I'm like, yes. Seriously, it's been a year since I found you and your website. I'm on my second dog now. Thanks to you guys, I have a pet now that's a really great addition to our family. All that help aside, since I stumbled upon you, I've been reconsidering the quality and meaning of my personal life. And with your influence, I've been starting to work on personal development and overhaul in all its departments. My education to entertainment value, or ratio has been flipped upside down. So music has been replaced by Brian Tracy. Yeah. He's studying, instead of studying in the car, which is like car university as Brian Tracy calls it, he calls it leash university because it's while he's walking his dogs.
Love it.
So he just said, I'm working on building a dog training career. I'm sure Gary's book would be a great addition to my leash university's library.
Absolutely.
Even though it's a physical copy, but
he'll have to read it whilst he holds holding leashes.
While he's walking. So Martin, you are our winner. We've already gotten.
And you're a rock star,
Yeah.
and your honesty and transparency about sharing back with what we've helped you with means so much to us. We every time emails like that come through, it's always like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Like we send them back and forth. Did you see this?
Did you see this?
It's really exciting, and it never gets old. We always feel honored to be of any, help or service to you guys. So thank you so much. Here is the book. This is Gary Vee, one entrepreneur's take on leadership, social media, and self-awareness, and it is jam-packed with some of the best contemporary information about business building, social media, leadership, and everything else.
Yeah.
You cannot go wrong with this book, but do not just read it. Martin, study this book.
Yes.
Study it, underline it, write notes in it, make sure you absorb it, get it in here.
The Good Dog would not be possible. Nothing, T3 wouldn't be here without Mr. Gary Vee. So
that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Coyote and the Pig.
Coyote and the Pig would not
Laura's
be here
Stories,
without Gary Vaynerchuk.
TGD and T3.
Yep.
This dude wouldn't exist. So that's a pretty powerful statement. This is coming out to you ASAP. You'll get it real soon.
Yep.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so our second giveaway, last week you guys saw that we put in, we asked if you have any rescue or foster situations or rescues that would really benefit from either our Prong Foundation DVD or our e-collar DVD.
Yeah.
And we got some submissions. The best one we got, I'm going to read the email really quick here.
Because the best ones win.
The best ones always win. I wanted a little story. I'm actually going to roll through this because it's kind of a longer one, but we got Sean and Laura. Hey, it's Gidget Hall, volunteer with Serendipity GSD Rescue, also known as foster mom to Zeke the white GSD, who got tons of help from the amazing Brittany, who's our head trainer here at the TGD. She says, I love that you're offering possible DVDs to the rescues. The rescue I support is Serendipity German Shepherd Rescue. We're a breed-specific rescue based in St. Louis, Missouri. You know, I love the GSDs. Serve GSDs and high GSD mixes in our immediate region. We've also taken dogs from as far away as California when we have capacity, enough savvy foster homes open. So basically, she's got like an awesome story, but basically, you know, she's on the board of directors. I lead our marketing efforts, but I'm also called on heavily for dog evals and training for the GSDs who've been seriously let down by humans. We routinely train our program dogs with prong collars and with Zeke and a few others also on e-collar as needed. In other words, we know if most of these dogs would fail completely if we followed the misguided, pure positive path. We don't like to fail. So she's just awesome. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. You can find our website here, serendipitygsd.org. She speaks on the behalf of the entire board of directors and the amazing, interesting program dogs when we say that they would love to get the Prong Foundation DVD to training our growing volunteer and foster base. I mean, it's a long email. Gidget, I can't tell you, this email touched us so much. I'm just so happy. Like, I wish, with all your passion and all this stuff, I wish you could just do this and make this a program that you take far beyond your rescue here, that you're on the board of directors. I just think it's such a wonderful thing to see someone who's dealing with dogs that are in peril or you know, at risk, and basically giving them a new chance with some balanced training that we know is not favorable in the rescue world. So we're really grateful to you. This is all yours.
Dealing with sounds like heavier duty dogs, like successly, which
GSDs and like some high drive GSDs.
Big applause.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all yours, 100,000,000%. So email me the address that you want this to be sent to, Gidget, and we'll get that off to you right away with the long PDF as well. We're just so happy to give that to you.
Yeah. And Gidget's all over my Facebook page.
Gidget's awesome.
Yeah.
Brittany, she's the bomb.
Awesome lady.
So there we go. TGD giveaway time.
Yeah. So thank you guys, and we'll have to see what goes on next week for giveaway stuff. We'll have to see if we got any mysterious.
We're continuing our Rescue Foundation Prong DVD. So if you have a rescue that you think would do well in this, please send along, and we need a little story and all that stuff to make sure to put you in the running.
Yeah. So. And then I think what I'm going to start doing is, or we're going to start doing, is also purchasing like a couple of like select little goodies, books or audios that we can also give away, because it's not just improving dogs' life, but improving your guys' lives as well. Something that's really important to us. So maybe we'll shake things up a little bit. Cool?
Yay!
Okay, guys. So this is something new a little bit. We did it last week, right?
Yeah, we did it last week. Yep.
So basically, this is TGD's final thought. Last week we talked about shelter, rescue dogs, and kind of the realities, the harsh realities that can be involved with trying to deal with that. This week we actually had somebody comment who had gotten information from I think a Q&A Saturday, or I think it was a Q&A Saturday post or response to her, talking about affection, and with her deaf Aussie or something like that. And I think her interpretation was one that we were advocating no affection, and that would be like her long-term kind of prognosis for the dog, and her was like, forever, no affection. And then we posted up just yesterday or today, which was it? Yesterday?
Our FAQ of our question, our affection,
Yep. And so we really went into depth in that FAQ and talked about what kind of dogs deserve, what kind of relationship dynamics we're going to recommend less affection for, what kind of relationship dynamics you can have more latitude with, what kind of dogs with what kind of attitudes it's not going to serve, it's going to work against you. So we talked a lot about that, and that helped to clarify for a lot of people, but it also helped to clarify for I can't remember her name, but the owner that was struggling with the deaf Aussie, and she said it helped put it in perspective how the affection kind of like arc works. You want to jump in and just explain that it's not a permanent thing?
It's not permanent. It's a means to an end. If you have relationship issues with your dog, or if the affection is causing the dog to explode, or causing the dog to guard you, or causing the dog to have anxiety issues that are causing them to bite or do other things, jump on people, rule the house, whatever. So the whole thing is, when you're doing the training process, you want to remove some of that affection just so you can level the playing field. And then as the dog starts getting more respect for you, you can start adding more in. No one wants to live with their dog forever with no affection. Like,
no fun.
We give our dogs so much affection, like you would probably tell us to stop. So it's not about no affection. Of course, we don't spend all day
It's
patting
about
them.
deserving.
Yeah,
it's about
like,
deserving.
what do they deserve? And also, what do they need? So we use affection very, like, just like you would, like, you're not going to be with your best friend like the whole time, like, oh my god, you're so amazing, oh, everything you say is perfect. It's like, get away from me, lady. So
Is that what I've been doing wrong?
That's what you do wrong.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No.
I haven't
never be
enjoyed
wrong.
any of what you've done tonight, so I'm going to turn this all around.
No, you don't do that. But really, we're using affection as it's a reward, but also when we're removing it, it's really for the dog's benefit and it's a means to an end, so it's not forever.
And it's a tool. Like I explained to a client today who was struggling with it, that it's a tool that somebody asked, how come you're not saying good boy? The dog was a wreck. And I said, because good boy is a tool that we use to reinforce when a dog is doing something good, so we get more of it. When a dog is doing something bad or something that untoward that we're not into, you don't want to use good boy, even though we've been conditioned to use it, because it's going to cause the dog to be confused. It's a mixed message, and the dog is going to make more mistakes rather than having clarity. So affection is hugely powerful. It can absolutely change your relationship for the better or for the worse. What we want you guys to do is be empowered with that knowledge, use that tool of affection to get your relationship in the most awesome space possible, and then when your dog shows and proves himself to be awesome, then you can start to dial down that thermostat and start to share a little bit more affection and see what you get, engage it, and organically move into a different space. It's not forever, it's a means to an end, but it's one of your most powerful tools, and we want to make sure you guys understand how to use it. Do not mirror your dog back soft stuff until your dog gives you soft stuff in return consistently.
Thanks, guys.
Cool?
We love you so much. Thank you for
We do
watching
love
this
you so much.
episode. And we never did. It's episode number
Holy crap!
70.
70, I didn't even write it down.
Put the 5. Just put up the 5.
75!
Bye, guys.
Guys, we're slipping. We'll see you next week, all right?
Thank you.
See you, bye.
Bye.